where you saw me take all the seats, and I bought them for $324. The middle seats do not fit. I was kind of worried about this. Welcome back to another episode of Broken Mirror, guys. If you are new to the channel, we have been working on my 2009 Volkswagen Routan. If you didn't get the chance to see the last episode, I picked this up for $1,300. And the reason I got it so cheap is because it has a lot of little things all over wrong with it. But basically, there's a busted windshield. It was used as a work van. The front bumper was a little ugly, and it has a sound when driving that kind of sounds like a grinding when you first take off, then clears up with speed. So if anyone knows what that is, could actually use some help trying to figure that out. My first thought is a wheel bearing, but when turning left to right, I really don't hear a difference of it going away, which is usually the sign of a wheel bearing if it silences, I believe. Also in the last episode, I started to repair the front bumper, and then I soon discovered that this whole front end is broken. There's plastic pieces snapped everywhere, as you can see right here. So it is going to take a lot more work to make the front bumper sit correctly again and look good. Found some paint chipping here, starting to rust, which is a bummer. So there's just a lot of little details that I'm going to need to work on to make this thing pretty again. It has 163 or 61,000 miles, but overall it's a solid little runner. I do know it's gonna make money no matter what. I think literally if I could sell it like this, and I still think I'd get $2,000. Vans are just very highly desirable in San Diego along with trucks. If you can get one at a decent price, you can sell it for a profit very quickly. Also, I am sorry if it is hard to hear me today, guys. It's pretty windy. I'm gonna try my best to block the wind with my body at times. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can get some good audio. But the goal for right now, I would actually like to finish fixing this front end. And to do that, I first need to remove this whole plastic mount that goes from this corner all the way down underneath the radiator back to that corner. There's cables intertwined, especially down below. So it's going to be a little tricky, but really I need to take it out and stiffen all this back up so that the headlight sits forward and the bumper sits in correctly. It's basically why it keeps kind of sagging to one side or the other. The grill pops out, or the bumper pops out, or the headlight's pushed out. Everything's kind of just sitting there just enough, but not good enough. So that is the goal right now. Take all this out, get it out of the way, and then I can start thinking about how to reconstruct it. So that's the goal. Let's get at it. All right, so I got all of the plastic housing frame thing out. I didn't realize it was separated into two pieces completely until starting to pull it apart. But basically here is the right half, which most of this is structurally good. There is one little crack right here in the side plate I'm gonna wanna fix. This is the part I'm gonna have to re-adhere to that part. But first I wanna fix the upper support arm of that part where the bolts go in. So basically this section on that side, if you look here, is blown out, and then here's the little nuts that are supposed to go in there. So first my goal is to actually try to get these nuts back on. I don't think I'm gonna get both. I'll probably just get the one, unless I can find the other plastic shards to this one. There's not really much to grab onto. So I might have to maybe create an epoxy with a plate behind it or something to replace this, because all I really need to do is have a flat enough piece behind this plastic piece and this in the correct area, and the bolt will still work and it should still tighten it as long as this one centers it. I think that's a good idea. So that's where I'm going to start. After I do that, I'm going to try to adhere this piece back to that piece. I think you saw in the film just now that there was a tiny bit of frame damage just on the lips where the front bumper was connected to, or the bash bar, I think they're called. So just where that was connected to, the lips were slightly bent a little bit, little tweak this way, a little tweak that way. So I think I got them pretty much straight. But for right now, the goal is to fix that plastic housing. Hopefully I have enough paper clips because it is looking a little low. So I might have to pack up everything, run to the store, grab paper clips, come back. So we'll have to see, but that is the goal. Let's get at it. All right, so I think you guys saw that I pretty much plastic welded that thing completely back together. I am pretty content with it. There is one more bolt that won't adhere in that corner still. There's just not enough plastic around it. There's also another one that broke in that corner right there. If you can see in this one, there was a little nut there. So both of these have busted out. The guy before me, whoever messed with it, used this as the underwasher for the top one. The corner one over there, I think I'm gonna try to do the same thing, but I don't know if I have a big enough washer in my little kit here. So I might have to finagle something weird up. We'll see what I do. But for right now, what I would like to do is to try to reassemble it back onto the front end. I also want to straighten out the bash bar. So I don't think I showed you guys, but it does have some twisting and a little crinkling here. So you can kind of see that it definitely did get bent down from the impact. Not horrible, and after sledging the other one, I don't think it'll be too hard to kind of bash it back. I don't need to be perfect, just majority straight. So I'm probably gonna start with this, then put on the plastic bumper, then I can put this on and it's already ready to go, and then hopefully it's all done. So that's the goal. Let's get at it. All right, guys, I believe that I have finished adhering the front support back onto the car. Looks pretty strong. In fact, check it out. I can shake the whole car from this section that was completely disconnected. So I feel very confident in that thing supporting itself. The bumper is more straight. I feel very happy about that. But I think right now what my goal is going to be is to reinstall the headlights and try to get the front bumper back on this thing. I believe I have all the other screws in that are supposed to be there, but honestly there was quite a lot and quite a little bits of pieces here and there and little things to snap in place, so I think I have them, but we'll probably find out if you see me taking the car back apart to put it back together again. Anyway, that is the goal. Let's get at it. guys, it is the next morning. I was able to get the whole front bumper back on. It looks really good. I'm really content with how it turned out. The headlights, everything is lined up correctly now. As far as the codes on the vehicle, I am trying to figure out what those are. So from some of the research I found, just being that all those codes come together shows that they line up towards a TIPM. Also, shout out to Jay Yin. He mentioned it first. I kind of searched it that way and then kind of backtracked and searched it a different way, and it all starts to point back to the TIPM. That is basically like the fuse box underneath the hood. With that being the issue, and me working on the Dodge Grand Caravan before and seeing some of the wiring that was going on in this Routan, all the plastic shrouding around some of the wires was melted. So if you guys remember from the Dodge Grand Caravan, everyone thought there was a transmission problem, a shifting problem, yada, yada, yada. Turns out the wire harness runs right along the engine block and cooked the wires together. And at one point, 4 or 5 different wires were like melted together, along with the fuel injectors. Those wires were crisscrossed all over, nuts melted together, and it was just causing multiple misfires. The car wasn't able to get power to actually shift correctly. I fixed all those wires, car shifted fine, there was no problems. So being that that's a common issue, and I'm seeing in a bunch of different Dodges as I went through this research, found out on the Dodge Nitro, they lean on the coolant pipe. On a Dodge Challenger, they lean on something else. So it seems like Dodge likes to run the wires tight to the engine for some reason and causes a lot of these issues. So with me seeing that plastic shrouding broken on those wires, I'm gonna check those out, but I'm probably gonna do that down the line. Right now, what I would like to do is actually head down to the junkyard. I either found all the seats out of a Dodge Grand Caravan that are hopefully good, but it'd be cloth, they're a little uglier, they're not as nice as these, even though they're a little rough. I also found another junkyard that's like right around all the LKQs. There's a bunch of little ones, and this was the first time I found it, and I found that thanks to MJC. So shout out to MJC, thank you, man. Car-part.com or parts.com. That was an awesome site, helped me out a ton. I didn't even know those junkyards had that kind of quality in there. So I'm really stoked. I just called the guys. They said it would be about $300 for just the seats that are missing, or $500 for all the seats, if they all work, if they're all perfect. So that was the quote he gave me. I asked him if they were perfect condition. He said $500 for all, $300 for the rear 3. It's a little pricey, but honestly, from what I'm finding online, having to deal with hassle, shipping, it's kind of a deal. So I'm gonna go check them out, see if they're good. If they are, I'll probably buy at least some of them. If they're not, I might just go to the Dodge Grand Caravan. I think it's like $55 to $64 a seat over at LKQ. So like $280 for all 5 seats at a Dodge Grand Caravan. So it all depends. I have to see what's worth it. So right now, the goal is to pack up some tools and then head down to the junkyard. Let's get at it. All right, guys, I am back from the junk yards. I think I took you guys to the first one. It was a nice little junkyard. They have a couple of like higher cars. Unfortunately, they only had the back seat and the front seats, not the middle ones. So although they were beautiful, I almost wanted to buy them just to replace the driver's seat and the passenger seat and the rear seat. They were gorgeous. I really wanted them. Unfortunately, they missed the 2 middle ones. So because of that, I kind of searched around to other junkyards. I didn't see anything in the area. The closest is LA, And it's just not worth it to drive all the way up there with the van, because that's the only thing that can hold the seats to actually get them in. So to drive all the way up there, hopefully get them good enough. They'll probably be about 600 or 700 from those places from what I saw. So instead I went to LKQ, where you saw me take all the seats, and I bought them for $324. I had like a 20% off discount, and I bought a 90-day warranty just in case these seats don't fit. They should fit, but it was a $300 risk that I really didn't want to take, so I decided to spring an extra 60 bucks towards an extended warranty. In the back here, I now have all the seats kind of just laying around everywhere, and the first thing I want to do is try to test fit all the seats that they actually line up and work, or at the very least the back seats. I believe they will, but I was getting kind of nervous whether this had a different setup, because the floorboards in the Chrysler had a different style floorboard for the stowaway and go, which, speaking with my brother, and he mentioned that only the Dodge and the Chryslers had the stowaway seats because VW put in safer seats. I'm assuming for impact reasons that they removed the stow and go, because they are kind of flimsy BS kind of seats, I'm not gonna lie. But regardless, this was kind of the way I had to go. I didn't really have any other option. If you guys saw, I first showed you those black seats that were in like a 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan. They looked so sharp, they felt so nice. They were like suede, or what are they calling it now, Alcantara. But unfortunately, I was trying to envision black seats in this car, and if you think just little specks of black with the gray rug and the tan interior, it just would look weird. So I'd have to replace the black rug, which means the black doors, which means the black molding, and it just wasn't worth it. So went with these seats. Definitely my least favorite option, but still the best option with everything involved. So what I would like to do right now is pull them all out, make sure they all fit correctly. I don't think I'm gonna have to do the front seats. I saw how they line up. They should be good. I'm really bummed because these seats are way more comfortable than what I'm seeing the other ones are. The other ones are so flimsy crud. What I am gonna try to do is save the bottom mechanism of the driver's seat. So I may try to do that, transition the driver's seat padding to this one and cloth, but save the mobility of it, because it's electric front seat, which I like. And I think if I remove it, I'm going to have issues with lights going all over my dash, check engine lights, stuff like that. Definitely, I think airbag lights at the minimum. So anyway, that's the goal. Let's get at it. All right, guys, good and bad news. The back seats fit beautifully. In fact, they're kind of growing on me. Just the whole little design with the rest of the interior, I think it's actually gonna look pretty sharp. So I'm pretty content with it. The middle seats do not fit. I was kind of worried about this. When I was at the junkyard, they had a different floorboard. There was a different cut. I would mention the stowaway seats, yada, yada, yada. I think these mounting brackets are different as well. Like they're supposed to be pushed back 2 inches. So I think in the next episode, I'm gonna have to go back to the junkyard and try to get the floorboard out of that one, because the hooks should be right about here. I'm a little bummed out about that. I mean, the bummer here is that this whole one looks like one whole unit. So we can actually see down in here. Yeah, that's one giant brace that I have to go get replaced. So basically, I'm gonna have to go back to the junkyard, get this whole floorboard, and get these runners. It's starting to become more expensive. What I would like to do right now is try to combine the two seats together. So I'm gonna have to unplug the battery, which is gonna reset all the check engine lights. I haven't gotten any check engine lights, just those codes. And from what I'm seeing, it might be something else to do with the TPIM, I think I mentioned before. I'm gonna look into that as well, probably in the next episode. But for right now, I'm just gonna unplug everything. And then when I run back to the junkyard, I have to return all the junk seats for a core. It's only like $2 a core, but otherwise I just don't know where I'm gonna put all the trash. So I will be bringing those back for the core, getting that floorboard, and then installing everything then. But anyway, the goal for right now is to try to combine the two driver seats into one. I really want to use the power of the original in the new one. I don't want to have to unplug all that stuff and it becomes something else. So that's the goal. Let's get at it. All right, guys, it is the next morning. My camera ended up dying last night while I was taping, but I basically just did the same thing that I did on the driver's seat to the passenger seat. Also, I took the heat elements out of the original seats and put them into these junkyard seats. They look a little different. They're not great. I think I might grab some more spray adhesive in the future just to make sure everything sets up correctly, but check it out, looks pretty good. So I am pretty content with how these all came out. Of course, they still need to be cleaned, which will be a whole nother day. I mean, this, I still have to go get the floorboard from the junkyard, which will definitely be in the next episode. And then the stow and goes worked out perfectly. So these are the seats all folded down correctly. They're all mounted up. These are the seats that need to go back to the junkyard for the core. All three of these. Yeah, basically, otherwise I'd have to pay for a dump fee. So I'm gonna bring them back to the junkyard, get rid of them for free, get paid $2 a seat, and be happy about it. Oh, but the coolest thing, and the whole reason why I started last night, was to save these electric seats. Check it out. They work. Oh yeah, they work. I also cut out a little slit and put in the lumbar support. So we still have the lumbar support in the back here, which I'm very happy for. Still a nice little seat. Again, I think I might grab some spray adhesive. I mean, this is a little loose here. I sprayed it, but I think my glue was just running out because this side's a little tight. That side is definitely not. But most likely in the next episode, if I decide to do it, it'll be in the next episode. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all looks once it's all cleaned. So overall, guys, I'm pretty content with what happened this episode. The front bumper is looking pretty dang good. No more grill busting out. I do have to figure out if there's a way I can kind of tuck in these top corners because both of them are busting out just a little bit. This will sit in here, but if it does, then it pushes that corner out. If I push this corner in, it pushes this piece out. So I don't like that. I want to see if there's a way I can maybe angle this better. I don't know. Maybe I can change the angle of the headlight slightly to get that correct. We'll see. I will definitely try to mess with that probably in the next episode as well. But definitely next episode is to go back to the junkyard, grab that floorboard, bring those seats back. I might grab some plastic panels. Just the one for the other door has paint like kind of all over it. So I might just grab this little runner board from the junkyard just to save myself, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour of work trying to clean that thing. And then I'll probably also do the windshield in the next episode. I might try to do it myself this time. Probably gonna go to the junkyard and practice again, see if there's a way that I can do it. If not, I'll just pay to get it done. I do really want to try to do one of those one day though, and I have the adhesive already, just like $35 a can. So I already have it, I just need to cut it and go get the new one. Anyway guys, if you haven't yet, make sure to go down, smash the like button. It helps me out every single time you guys do. I really have been seeing a massive growth in this channel. I'm very happy about it. So thank you guys for all of you that do that. Also, if you haven't yet, make sure to go down and hit the subscribe button, click the notifications bell. This way you get alerted every time I put out one of these videos. I'm doing 2 a week now. But with all that said, guys, I think that is going to wrap up this episode of Bro Premiere. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll catch you again on Thursday. Later, guys.